My parents laughed at my online business for years until I made $1.2 million and left their golden girl speechless at her own graduation party. My name is Aiden. I'm 31. And if there's one thing I've learned about family, it's that they'll support you the most unless your success makes them uncomfortable. I never took the standard route. While the majority of my relatives were away at university studying law, medicine, or whatever else would get them a LinkedIn badge and parental bragging rights, I was holed up in my childhood bedroom, creating an e-commerce brand out of thin air. Initially, the company only sold bespoke phone cases, then t-shirts, then it snowballed. While they were submitting resumes and praying for internships, I was doing taxes for an LLC and managing 6 figures of merchandise. But according to my mother, I was still between jobs. That's how I was presented at weddings and reunions. This is Aiden. He's figuring things out. As if my company didn't exist until someone in a suit claimed it did. The graduation celebration that broke the camel's back was for Sophia, my cousin. She was 23, had just graduated from a prominent institution with a degree in international relations, and was the family's golden girl. You know the type. Class president, knows 3 languages, volunteers at shelters, and somehow looks like a Disney princess in every shot. Growing up, I never had any problems with her. To be honest, we were civil, not particularly close, but yet not antagonistic. But Sophia always had this air about her, as if she wanted everyone to clap at the end of each phrase. Her parents, my aunt and uncle, fueled it. Every minor accomplishment was celebrated with a party, a framed award, a group SMS, and a Facebook album titled Sophia's Big Moment. When I received the invitation to her graduation celebration, I knew what to expect. A catered outdoor affair at their suburban home, complete with string lights, champagne, and an exorbitant tent rental. What I didn't foresee was the role I would be assigned. When I arrived, I drove up a little early to avoid the usual bustle, only to be met by Aunt Cara, Miller's mother, waving a neon vest as if I just clocked in for work. That's fantastic, Aiden. We hoped you could assist with the parking situation. We have cars backing up down the street. No hello. There was no, thanks for coming. Just a vest, a walkie-talkie, and a pat on the back as if I were a college freshman working valet on weekends. I blinked at her. I am not working at the party, Cara. I came to celebrate. She laughed as if I had told a joke. Please help us out for an hour or so. You're skilled at logistics, correct? Your small internet thing. I should have gone away then. I should have given her the vest and told her no. But something in me, probably my cursed familial loyalty, made me accept it. I spent the first 90 minutes of the party waving SUVs into grass patches and assisting elderly relatives with their walkers over difficult terrain. Nobody relieved me. Nobody brought me a drink. When I eventually sat down at one of the fold-out tables in the rear, sweaty and dusty, the genuine celebration had already begun. There was a large banner across the yard that read, "Congrats, Sophia," in sparkling gold. A red ribbon was placed over the driveway gate, which appeared to be disguising a brand new Kia Soul. Guests gathered around the cake table to sip beverages and dine. My mother, who was seated front and center, gave me a half-hearted wave as if she had raised Sophia herself. That I noticed my name scrolled on a paper place card hidden beneath a beautiful fern in the buffet line, distant from the main tables. Sophia was shining. She wore a white outfit that reflected light with every movement, and she moved from table to table as if she were running for office. When a microphone was delivered to her, she tapped it dramatically before laughing. "I just wanted to thank everyone for coming," she said, raising her champagne flute. "It means so much to be surrounded by people who value hard work and real education, especially in a time where it's so easy to get distracted by online hobbies." She smiled straight at me. The pause was intentional. The delivery was razor sharp. And how did they react? Laughter. Actual laughing. My uncle snorted. My cousin Jason spit out a sip from his drink. Even my mother gave a tight, ashamed smile, as if she had been caught trying not to laugh, but couldn't stop herself. I felt heat rising up my neck. I glanced at the condensation pouring down my untouched drink, trying not to react. "Not yet," Sophia continued, oblivious, or perhaps just brave. Some of us spent 4 years pursuing a degree that signifies something. Sorry, not sorry. More laughs. She clinked glasses with a few close guests before returning the microphone like a teen drama dropped the mic scene. My mother looked across at me, gave a slight shrug, and said, "She didn't mean it. The fact is, I didn't care about the car. I didn't care about the banner, the speech, or the fact that every photo was taken with me cropped out in the backdrop, standing by the hedge like a forgotten waiter. What hurt was the years of silent dismissals, smirks when I attempted to describe my job. My own mother would skip over my updates to discuss which of Sophia's lecturers formerly worked for the State Department. But as I sat there with dust on my sneakers and a drink in my hand, something inside me moved. I waited until the last toast was given. The clapping subsided and people began to go toward the dance floor where a Bluetooth speaker was playing top 40 songs. I stood up, brushed off my clothes, and made my way up to the main table where Sophia and her friends were posing for photos next to the car, still high from the ovation. "Hey, Sophia," I said casually, loud enough for the close audience to hear. She paused mid-laugh, evidently not expecting me to reply. "Yeah?" she questioned, her eyes narrowing. I raised my glass and grinned. "Just wanted to say congrats. Really must feel great knowing your degree got you here, and it's awesome that your family supports you so much." I took a large sip. My little online hobby just cleared $1.2 million this year. "But hey, nice Kia." Silence. Sophia's smile froze. Someone behind her dropped a fork. My uncle's mouth dropped open. My mother blinked twice as if she couldn't process the words. I did not wait for their reactions to subside. I simply nodded, turned on my heel, and walked away toward the gate. The last thing I heard was someone whispering, "Wait, what did he say?" And I had no intention of staying for what happened next. As I walked down the gravel road to my car, I could feel the stairs piercing my back like heat bulbs. I did not turn around. I did not need to. I had played my part. I had spoken everything I needed to say, and I knew that small mic drop moment would reverberate throughout the gathering like a pebble on still water. The fact is I hadn't planned on saying anything. I actually hadn't. However, years of being the family's quiet afterthought, the one who got the short end of the talk and the long list of favors had finally added up. And Sophia's arrogant little jab, that was the last straw. When I got into my car and drove away, no one came after me. Not yet. But by the time I arrived home, parked in front of my stylish 3-bedroom house, which I purchased outright last year, my phone had already started buzzing. First came the texts, one from my mother. That was uncalled for. "Aiden, you embarrassed the entire family." Then another, "We'll chat later. Please do not make a big deal out of it." Then Aunt Cara asked, "Was that really necessary? Sophia worked hard to earn her degree. You are not the only one having accomplishments." I didn't respond. I turned off my phone, dropped it on the kitchen counter, and let the silence of my home wash over me. That night, I got the best sleep I'd had in months. The aftermath occurred in waves over the next 2 days. Monday morning, I opened my business email and discovered 3 fresh interview requests. Apparently, one of Sophia's friends looked up my company after the party and was really happy with what we'd accomplished. Built, not fallen into. This isn't some minor online activity. That word meant something to me. A month ago, I might have forwarded the inquiries to my assistant. What about now? I took the calls myself. For once, I wanted others to hear my story. Tuesday evening, my mother arrived at my door. She didn't text me first. She just rang the doorbell, clutching a Tupperware container, as if it was still 2006 and I was a college student in need of lasagna and life counsel. I opened the door slowly. "Hey," she said a little too quietly. "I brought dinner." I stepped back and motioned her in. She hovered in the entrance, surveying the living room as if it were the first time she'd seen it. The minimalist furniture, local art pieces, and smart lighting. All of it screamed success in a language she had never bothered to understand. "You've done well for yourself," she finally replied. "Yeah," I replied. "I have." She placed the Tupperware on the countertop. "You embarrassed Sophia and the entire family. She is devastated." I folded my arms and leaned on the kitchen island. Mom. She mocked me in public. I did not start anything. I finished it. But $1.2 million. She stated it like it was a sin, as if saying it aloud would call an IRS demon. It's the truth. She stopped, her jaw stiff. Why haven't you told me? I laughed, not unkindly. I did. You simply never wanted to hear it. You like the version of myself that needed assistance. That fits into your tiny story. Aiden, the dropout, still trying to figure things out. You could pity me, but I stopped needing it a long time ago. She sat down hard as if my words had knocked the wind out of her. I wasn't trying to pity you, she added quietly. No? I asked. So why was Sophia always so motivated while I was just the kid who made stickers in his room? She did not have an explanation for that. Instead, she explained, Sophia is looking for work. Nothing has come through yet. I grinned tightly. So, the actual degree didn't open every door after all? That earned me a scowl. Don't be cruel. I am not. I'm just tired of pretending. I have not earned a place in this household. She stood up and brushed phantom crumbs from her blouse. She wants to apologize, she muttered. Does she? I raised an eyebrow. She said she went too far. I did not respond since I didn't believe it. Not yet. Later that night, I looked at my phone for the first time since Saturday. Sophia's text sat unread. Hey, about the party. I shouldn't have said what I said. That was messed up. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long time, not because I didn't know what to do, but because the power dynamic had shifted and everyone knew it. For years, they assumed I was the man scraping by on Wi-Fi in a dream. No, I was the one who developed an empire while they weren't looking. The following weekend, however, was when things really began to spin out of control. Aunt Cara called me directly. There's no warning, just a voicemail. Aiden, I need to talk to you about something important. We've run into a bit of a financial situation. I didn't want to bring this up, but your uncle's hours got cut, and the lease on Sophia's new car isn't exactly manageable. I know things got tense, but we're still family, right? That's when something clicked. They weren't simply humiliated. They wanted something. I listened to the voicemail twice, not because I wanted to hear what she said again, but because I couldn't believe how quickly the tone changed. Just days before, I'd been the family joke in a vest directing automobiles into grassy areas. Now I was at the emergency exit. I did not call Aunt Cara back right away. I didn't even respond. I let it rest, leaving her to wonder if I had heard it. Allow the discomfort to increase. I recognized this pattern. It was predictable. First the derision, then the stillness, then the sudden tenderness, and the "we're still family" line as soon as they needed a favor. And make no mistake, this was a favor, a pricey one. I did not respond to Aunt Cara. I didn't text Sophia back either. I wasn't ignoring them out of malice. I was simply done playing the fool in their family theater. For years, I had watched them circulate support, favors, praise, and money within their own little circle while I sat in the background, expected to be grateful for scraps of attention. That era was over. By Wednesday, Sophia tried calling. When I didn't answer, she left a voicemail. Aiden, I know things got crazy, but can we just talk? I'm sorry for the comment. Really, you surprised us and I just reacted badly. It's not like I meant it. I didn't mean it like that. Please call me back. I didn't. Not because I was cruel, but because I was tired. Tired of being told to let it go, to be the bigger person, to not cause drama. For once, I wanted to see how they reacted when I did nothing at all. By Saturday, the calls had stopped. I figured the drama was over. I was wrong. That evening, my cousin Max texted me a screenshot of a post Sophia made on Facebook. A long, meandering rant about family and betrayal. About how some people think money makes them better than others. How one party doesn't erase a lifetime of selfishness. She didn't name me. She didn't have to. The comments were a mix of sympathy and confusion. A few people posted those vague "DM me girl" replies, but I just laughed. She couldn't handle being called out, so she turned to the court of public opinion. Classic. I didn't respond online. I didn't have to. The truth was out there, and anyone with a brain could read between the lines. But then Aunt Cara called again. This time she didn't bother with subtlety. Aiden, I don't know what kind of grudge you're holding, but this is childish. You're tearing the family apart. Sophia is heartbroken. Your uncle's car is barely running. We're struggling, and you're just sitting there doing nothing? What happened to being generous? I almost laughed. Generous? Generous is offering help freely. Not being guilt into rescuing people who've spent their entire lives making sure you knew you didn't belong. I'm not obligated to fund your life, I said flatly when I finally picked up. I'm not your ATM. I owe you nothing. There was silence on the line. Then the venom came out. Wow, you really think you're better than everyone now? Huh. No, I replied. I just finally believe I deserve better than how you've all treated me. I hung up, and for the first time in years I felt free. The silence after that was loud, but peaceful. No more guilt-tripping calls, no backhanded texts, no passive-aggressive Facebook posts, at least none that got back to me. For 2 weeks, I focused on work, on myself, on the quiet hum of a life not tethered to people who never really saw me. Then, out of nowhere, I got an invitation. It was an invite to Sophia's birthday brunch, sent from her directly to my email with a little note that said, "Let's start over?" I stared at it for a solid minute. After everything, the humiliation, the guilt, the sudden rush to ask for money. Now this felt like bait, but I was curious, so I went. It was held at a trendy rooftop downtown, a place known for overpriced mimosas and influencer aesthetics. I wore a simple black button-up and gray slacks, understated but sharp. I didn't want to make a scene. I just wanted to see what the game was now. When I walked in, several heads turned. Some smiled, others whispered. Sophia froze when she saw me, then plastered on a grin and came over with arms open. "You came," she beamed. "You invited me," I replied. She laughed awkwardly. "Well, yeah. I mean, I figured we should talk." We didn't talk. Not right away. She spent most of brunch fluttering from guest to guest, soaking in attention. Meanwhile, I sat with Max and a couple of other cousins, quietly observing, until the gifts came out. Most were standard candles, skincare kits, gift cards. Then she opened mine, a sleek envelope. Inside, a $5 Starbucks card and a handwritten note that said, "This felt more your speed. Enjoy the coffee. Aiden." She read it aloud. The table went quiet. A few chuckled nervously. Sophia's face went red. "Seriously?" she hissed, leaning down to whisper. "What?" I said, sipping my drink. "Did you expect a car? I thought you were trying to make peace." "No," I smiled. "You were." She didn't speak to me for the rest of the brunch, which was fine, because I wasn't there to grovel. I was there to show her and everyone else that the old Aiden, the one who needed their validation, was gone. The fallout from the brunch didn't come right away. Sophia tried to play it cool, posting a carousel of perfectly filtered photos with captions like, "Grateful for the real ones, 2 hearts," and "Surround yourself with people who celebrate you." It was all image maintenance. I didn't engage. I didn't need to. The people who mattered already saw through the facade. A week later, I got a text from Max. "Dude, Sophia's furious. She's telling people you're bitter and jealous. That you only came to show off." I laughed. Bitter and jealous? Of what exactly? Her brunch table centerpieces? Her empty designer handbag? Her Instagram followers? Max followed up with, "I think she's spiraling. She tried asking Aunt Jean for money. Said she had surprise expenses after her party. Jean told her to grow up. That was rich." Sophia, the same woman who once told me I was irresponsible with money, because I chose to invest instead of loan her $5,000 for a doomed business venture, now getting rejected by the very relatives she used to weaponize against me. Then came the call I never expected. It was my uncle. Not Sophia's dad, he'd ghosted the entire family years ago, but Uncle Dennis, her mom's brother. He'd always been quiet at family events, but kind. Not overly involved, but never cruel. "Aiden," he said, "I wanted to thank you." I blinked. "For what?" "For waking everyone up. We've let Sophia run wild for years. Guilt-tripping, manipulating, leeching off everyone. It's like you shook the tree and now everyone sees the rotten fruit. It was the most backhanded compliment I'd ever received, but oddly validating. I just stopped pretending, I said. Exactly. And now people are done pretending with her too. Apparently, Aunt Cara had tried hosting a dinner the previous weekend, and almost no one showed. Sophia was livid. Blamed me, obviously. I hadn't said a word to anyone. I hadn't spread rumors or thrown tantrums. I just quietly removed myself from the dynamic, and it crumbled without me. Sometimes, silence really is the loudest message. By now, the family dynamics had shifted. Quietly, subtly, but unmistakably. I was no longer the black sheep. I had become something else, the one who'd finally said no and meant it. That seemed to rattle people more than any shouting match or confrontation ever could. So it didn't shock me when, 2 months later, I got another invitation. This time for a family reunion barbecue hosted by my mom's side. Sophia would be there. So would Aunt Cara. The usual crowd. I considered ignoring it, but something in me said I should go. Not for them. For me. The day of the barbecue was warm, clear-skied. The kind of perfect summer afternoon that almost tricks you into thinking everything is okay. I arrived late on purpose, wanting to avoid any awkward early hellos. Max greeted me with a fist bump and a grin. Took you long enough. Just building suspense, I joked. The gathering was classic family chaos. Kids running around with juice boxes, uncles arguing over grill technique, aunties gossiping in clusters. I navigated it with quiet confidence, making small talk, sharing a few laughs, staying light. Then I saw Sophia. She was near the drink table, wearing a sundress 2 sizes too small, pretending to laugh at something her boyfriend said. When her eyes met mine, she froze, just for a second. Then she turned away like she hadn't seen me. But I knew she had. An hour later, I was talking with my cousin Marissa when Sophia approached. Alone. Her smile was tight. Hey, Aiden. Sophia. I nodded. She waited like expecting me to offer more. I didn't. So, I just wanted to say I've been thinking about how everything went down. And I get it now. Really. I wasn't fair to you. I blinked. That wasn't what I expected. Okay, I said cautiously. I mean it, she continued. I was in a bad place. I took it out on you. And when you didn't play along anymore, it made me feel exposed. I reacted badly. It sounded rehearsed. But maybe she was trying. Thanks for saying that, I replied. We good. I didn't answer right away. Then I said, we're better than we were. Her face fell slightly, but she nodded, then walked away. That was the last real conversation we ever had.